She treated her parents like servants. She always called them old. Slow, she pushed them away without thinking. She believed their love was guaranteed. She never imagined losing them. Ever. But one day everything changed. Her parents stopped answering her calls. The house felt suddenly too quiet there. Was no warm voice anywhere? She paced around with growing fear. Then, the truth hit her hard. They were gone without a goodbye. Gone. Without seeing her change, gone without hearing one apology. And she stood there completely. Shattered. Every person she trusted disappeared too. Nobody came when she needed. The world she built collapsed fast. Her own words came back cutting. The silence felt heavier than grief. And now her dark realization grows. Without her parents, she has nothing. No love, no support, nitrogen monoxide, strength, just the consequences of her cruelty. And the regret that never leaves. But this isn't the end. Yet, because what she learns next hurts. It hurts more than any loss. A truth that changes everything forever and makes her face her own karma. Keep watching. The real story begins now. She treated her parents terribly. She ordered them like servants. She rolled eyes at everything. She mocked their slow steps. She sighed loud at kindness. She called them embarrassing burdens. And I watched everything quietly. Their daughter, my cousin Hannah. She acted like royalty daily, like love was guaranteed forever, like parents never broke inside. I visited them that evening. The house felt strangely heavier. Her mother whispered soft apologies. Her father moved slower than usual. The lamps dimmed around corners. Their hands trembled with exhaustion. I stood near the doorway. Hannah barked another command loudly. Bring my laundry downstairs now. Her father tried smiling weakly. Her mother forced a calm face. But I saw everything clearly. My heart tightened watching them. They still cooked for her. They cleaned her messy rooms. They drove her everywhere constantly. They gave unconditional love daily, and she gave nothing back. That night changed something inside. Her mother dropped a dish. It shattered across the kitchen tiles. Hannah yelled without hesitation. Can you do anything right? Silence filled the entire house. Heavy, cruel, suffocating silence everywhere. Her mother's lips trembled slightly. Her father looked away, ashamed. Hannah crossed arms, completely unbothered. I stepped forward slowly then. My voice low but steady. Why are you treating them horribly? She glared with cold annoyance. Oh, please. They'll be fine. They always come running back. They owe me everything anyway. Her parents didn't defend themselves. They just endured like always. That silence broke me inside. Later, I sat with them. We drank warm tea quietly. Her father's hands kept shaking. Her mother wiped hidden tears. They whispered the truth gently. We won't be here long, or growing older every day. She doesn't understand anything. Yet, one day she will learn. But we won't be. Here, their words hit painfully deep. The lamp flickered above us. The room felt heavier suddenly. I walked home after midnight. Cold air carried their sorrow. My steps felt strangely slower. My chest felt unbearably tight. Something terrible felt close. The next morning, everything changed. I arrived to an empty house. The front door slightly open. Lights still left on inside. Something felt deeply wrong instantly. I stepped inside cautiously. Rooms were strangely quiet today. No footsteps, no soft voices. No kettle boiling in kitchen. No laughter, no gentle humming. Just heavy, echoing silence everywhere. And then I found the letter. A single envelope on table, with trembling handwriting across it for Hannah. Read when ready. My heartbeat thudded violently. Cold air moved around me. I sensed this wasn't normal. Something irreversible had happened. I took a slow breath. My fingers shook opening it. Inside were only 4 words. But they froze my soul. We are leaving today." The room spun around me. I whispered their names shakily. No answer came from anywhere. Not upstairs, not outside, nowhere. Her parents were gone. Completely gone without warning. Leaving her to face life. Leaving her to face herself. And that moment was only the beginning. The real collapse had not started yet. I wake up early next morning. Cold sunlight crawls across my room. Silence presses heavy on everything. Not peaceful, silence guilty. Unfinished silence. The kind that waits, breathing slowly. I walk toward the kitchen carefully. Floorboards creak under my tired feet. My heart thumps with rising dread. I don't see my parents. Just empty chairs and cold cups. I swallow hard, pretending strength. I force myself to stay calm. I tell myself they're okay. I tell myself they're resting. But deep down, I know better. The house feels strangely off balance, like something sacred has shifted, like someone removed the warmth entirely. The air feels heavier than yesterday. Every breath stings like quiet punishment. I open their bedroom door slowly. The light falls across untouched blankets. No shoes, no jacket missing. No sign they even woke up. My chest tightens with sharp fear. I whisper their names softly. The silence answers back cruelly. It echoes through the quiet room. It feels like a slap inside. It feels like truth coming closer. I walk through each hallway carefully. Every picture feels like accusation. Every memory stares at me painfully. I feel myself shrinking with guilt. I feel like a careless stranger. Then my phone buzzes suddenly. The sharp sound cuts the silence. A neighbor texts me 3 words. Words that freeze my entire body. "Your parents left early." I read it twice, slowly. My stomach drops without any warning. My hands shake uncontrollably with fear. Left early. Went where? Why? Why didn't they tell me? I call the neighbor immediately. My voice cracks while asking questions. She sounds hesitant, almost uneasy talking. She says she saw everything clearly. She describes them walking quietly outside. No bags, no jackets, nothing. Just tired faces and slow steps. My throat closes when she says it. "They looked really heartbroken, honey." The words hit me like fire. My eyes burn with rising shame. I feel my knees weaken instantly. I thank her with trembling breath. I sit down on the hallway floor. I press my hands against my face. Memories hit me one by one. My voice shouting, hurting them purposely. My tone sharp, cruel, dismissive. My pride bigger than their comfort. My words cutting deeper than I realized. I whispered to the empty house. A confession only walls can hear. I treated them like servants. The words taste bitter, leaving me. Pain spreads slowly through my chest. I stand up slowly after minutes. I know I have to move. I know I can't waste time. My parents are out there somewhere, alone, hurt, disappointed in me. I grab my coat quickly, breath trembling. I step outside into cold air. Wind stings my cheeks immediately sharp. My guilt feels heavier with distance. Every step feels like slow punishment. I walk down the streets searching, looking for familiar shapes ahead, looking for the 2 people I never truly appreciated enough. And as I walk forward slowly, one thought keeps echoing painfully inside. I pushed them away so carelessly. I made home feel unsafe again. And now I must face consequences. The real story begins now. And I already fear the ending. I stand frozen in the hallway, feeling my breath turn strangely tight. Like the walls lean closer slowly, listening to every broken memory. My mother's soft voice trembles again, whispering apologies she never deserved. Her hands rest folded in silence, as if hiding years of quiet pain. I step closer without making noise because grief has its own heaviness. A weight that presses without mercy. The room smells like fading winter air, cold, stale, untouched for far too long. Sunlight leaks through dusty curtains, slowly falling across her fragile, trembling shoulders. I watch her shoulders rise shakily, holding breaths filled with old ache. Breaths she has been swallowing alone. She doesn't notice me behind her, doesn't notice my clenched, shaking fists, doesn't hear the guilt in me or the anger burning my ribs. Her sigh breaks the still air gently, and she wipes a tear away fast, as if crying is some forbidden weakness, as if motherhood stole her permission. I move closer and speak softly. Mom, I'm right here, okay? She turns with startled wet eyes, eyes that look tired but grateful. She tries to smile for me, but the smile collapses immediately again. It's falling apart like something overused. I'm fine, sweetheart, really fine. Her voice cracks on that lie, and the lie shatters inside me. I kneel beside her, shaking hands, and she flinches without meaning to, like she's waiting for more blame, more criticism, more careless cruelty. It hits me like violent thunder. She lived years under my sister's shadow. Years of harsh words and cold commands. Years treated like someone replaceable, disposable. I swallow the rising rage hard, because rage won't help her heal. Not yet. Not now. Not today. Mom, you don't have to pretend. My voice sounds softer than usual, the softness I should have used earlier. The softness she always deserved fully. Her tears spill onto her lap, falling in uneven, shaky little dots, painting grief across her thin blanket. I hold her hands carefully, gently, like she is made of breakable glass. Like touching her requires full honesty. You never deserved any of this. My words tremble, but stay steady. She closes her eyes tightly again, like the truth hurts her too much. The lamp flickers above our heads, casting moving shadows across her face, making her look both strong and wounded. She whispers something barely audible, something that slices clean through me. I just wanted my daughters happy. The simplicity destroys me deeply. All she wanted was simple peace. But love like hers became one-sided, and we never saw the imbalance. I lift her chin gently upward, letting her see the promise forming, a promise growing heavier each second. I won't let her hurt you anymore. She shakes her head in fear, but I shake mine back firmly. I've stayed silent far too long. Silence is what built this damage. Not anymore, not again. Not ever. My voice strengthens with slow fire, quiet but filled with sharp certainty. She treated you like a servant. But I'm going to make this right, my mother whispers, terrified. How? I stand slowly with steady breath, hearing the storm rise inside me. A storm she never learned to release. I look toward the doorway ahead, toward the part of the house where my sister walks like royalty, blind to the damage she's created. And for the first time ever, the house feels hollow without them. The silence cuts deeper than words. The air hangs heavy around me. Grief sits quietly on shoulders. Regret breathes loudly in corners. Every room echoes their absence. I wake before sunrise, each day hoping this pain weakens a little, but it clings tighter every morning. My hands shake. Pouring simple coffee, my thoughts drift toward their voices, voices I never thought I'd miss. Used to roll eyes casually. I used to speak without thinking. I used to act like I knew everything about life and strength, but now life feels too heavy, and strength hides far from me. Walk through quiet hallways. Slowly the wooden floor creaks beneath footsteps, reminding me of nights I ignored. The nights they stayed up waiting, hoping I'd come home safely while I treated them like burdens. I sit at their empty table, staring at chairs once filled warmly. The sunlight hits polished surfaces, softly revealing dust. I never noticed because I never cared enough to look closely or appreciate anything. I open drawers, searching for letters, hoping they wrote something for me, something that forgives my ignorance, something that softens this sharp regret. But the drawers reveal only emptiness, the kind I created. My Zolf neighbors stop by, offering condolences. Their voices soften around me. Their eyes show things unsaid. Maybe they always saw truth clearly. Maybe they knew I mistreated them. Maybe they wondered when I'd understand. I breathe slowly, listening silently to whispers of my own guilt, guilt that grows heavier. Each hour guilt that spreads through everything. Guilt that feels impossible to escape like a shadow. I can't outrun me, Aunt visits with trembling hands. She places papers gently before me, death certificates and final instructions. My heart stumbles reading their names, my chest tightens until breathing hurts. A painful reminder of what's Gonish whispers truths. I never heard how my parents defended me constantly, how they loved me despite everything, how they protected me from judgment, how they believed I'd mature eventually, how they hoped I'd change someday here. Words slice through thick silence, cutting deeper than past arguments, forcing me to face ugly memories, the way I demanded everything loudly, the way I snapped at their slowness, the way I took them for granted me. Aunt touches my shaking shoulder, her voice steady but full of ache. She says no one expected perfection, just kindness, respect, and gratitude, all the things I withheld selfishly, all the things I thought unnecessary. I feel tears burning behind eyes, tears I refused to show earlier because pride kept them locked tightly. But pride feels meaningless now, too small to hold any value, too useless to protect my heart. I walk outside needing fresh air. The sky feels wider than before. The wind pushes gently around me, like it knows I'm unraveling inside, like it wants to steady my breath, like it's reminding me I'm alive. I step toward the edge walkway, my feet moving without direction. Each step heavier than the last, each moment filled with realization. Realization that comes too late. Realization that destroys from within. I see an envelope on doorstep, plain, slightly crumpled, handwritten softly, my name curved across the front. My breath stalls reading, familiar handwriting, desperate hope blooms inside me. My hands tremble. Opening the seal, inside waits a single folded page, ink slightly smudged at the corners. Their words, simple but painfully warm. My mother thanking me for being her daughter, even when I drifted. My father hoping I'd find peace. It wrote about love surviving mistakes, about family being stronger than pride, about forgiveness, waiting patiently. Always their last message, softer than memory, a reminder I still mattered deeply, even when I didn't deserve kindness. Knees weaken as I read. My vision blurs with heavy tears. Their words wrap around my chest, forcing every regret to surface, forcing me to finally understand what love looked like all along. Clutch the letter painfully, tight pressing it against shaking chest as the sun drops behind rooftops, casting long shadows across yard, reminding me how darkness arrives, quietly reminding me how quickly life changed me. Heart aches with unbearable truth, truth that can't be undone now. Truth I must carry forever, truth heavier than anything before, the truth that breaks me completely, the truth I can't escape anymore. The letter slips from my fingers, floating softly toward cold ground, and in that silent moment I finally realize something terrifying, something I avoided for years, something I can't hide from now. I understand exactly what I destroyed, and I understand it came back to destroy everything inside me. And that realization, it's just the beginning of the consequences waiting for me. The door behind me creaks open, and someone unexpected steps out. The funeral morning felt painfully unreal, air pressed heavy against my chest, grief wrapped tightly around my breath. Every sound inside the house echoed parents' absence, carved silence through everything. I stood shaking beside wooden caskets. Their names, carved colder than winter, regret tasted bitter across my tongue. The world moved without asking permission. Time refused to wait for forgiveness. My sister finally walked toward me, eyes empty from self-made loneliness. Guilt trembled across her clenched jaw. Anger softened. Somewhere beneath that guilt, she whispered barely above the wind, I didn't think they'd leave me. Her voice cracked into collapsing truth. I didn't answer her apologies immediately, pain drowned words somewhere inside me. She kept talking through breaking breaths. I treated them like replaceable objects. I forgot they were actual living hearts. I thought they'd always return home. She sank onto the cold ground, hands shaking. Like storm-broken branches, I felt something shift inside me, anger fighting grief inside my ribs. My parents deserved better than cruelty. They deserved softness. They never received their whole lives where love offered freely. Yet she returned nothing. But commands I remembered nights. They whispered sadly, wondering why she pushed them away. I remembered mornings they forced smiles, trying to hide cracks. She created their loyalty, never wavered. Despite hurt, they still waited for her change. But that change came painfully late. I knelt beside her in silence, not forgiving her, not condemning her, just letting truth settle between us because truth sometimes hurts. More quietly, we watched wind move, the flower's petals brushing against the wooden surface, sunlight touched. The caskets gently today, almost like giving last warm. Goodbye, my heart broke and slowly opened, new understanding grew through aching pieces. I finally spoke through trembling breath. They didn't want perfection. Just kindness. Those words shattered her completely inside. Her sobs filled the empty air, but this time she didn't hide. This time she let everything unravel, remorse flooding faster than falling rain. We stayed kneeling until evening. Shadows, grief softened into something quieter now. Not forgiveness, not hatred, just truth. Truth. Neither of us could escape truth that stays long after pain. Later that night, I sat alone listening to the house breathe differently. It was quieter, softer, painfully wiser. I understood something I never expected sometimes. People learn love too late. Sometimes regret becomes their only company, and sometimes karma delivers silent lessons, not with revenge, but with reality. I closed my eyes and whispered, promising myself something they deserved. Always, I will live gently in their memory. I finally realized something unforgettable tonight. Sometimes silence becomes the strongest answer, and love becomes the loudest lesson.